joined by UMass Boston baseball senior Danny Brown. Danny, what have you been up to the last couple of weeks?
Yeah, these last couple of weeks have been pretty interesting. It's definitely a very hard time for everyone. But I've been able to catch up on a lot of schoolwork. I've enrolled in 3 other classes. I'm currently in 8 classes, preparing for the CPA exam. I need 150 credits. So in that aspect, I've been really lucky to catch up on all my schoolwork. Trying to stay active in the backyard. We have a little golf course, a little basketball court. For the most part, I've been staying pretty active, playing a lot of card games, a lot of quality time with family. So, yeah, it's been pretty good.
So I imagine during the baseball season you would have been able to take half of those classes and maybe not even pay as much attention because of the rigorous schedule you had. So is this maybe an unexpected, pleasant surprise where you're able to get some of these classes out ahead of time before you start working and before things maybe get a little bit busier come this summer?
Yeah, I was talking to my mom about that earlier. I was like, despite, this is terrible, I'm kind of taking advantage of the time we've had off. I would have never, I was in 5 classes in UMass. I would have had to take 3 in the summer, then 3 more in the fall because I still have to take 3 more after May's over. So it's kind of worked out for me, but just kind of taking advantage of what I can and staying positive.
Danny, your high school career up in New Hampshire was one of the more impressive ones to come to UMass Boston in a while, and just in terms of all the accolades you earned in not just baseball, but also in football and basketball. Can you talk about why it kind of had to be baseball when you got to the college level, and any kind of crossover that has helped you become a better baseball player from playing those other 2 sports?
Yeah, for sure. My real passion is football. I always loved football. I played it all throughout my career. I just got kind of unlucky my sophomore year. I kind of broke my collarbone, and that kind of trickled into winter season basketball that year, and I also refractured it. So baseball kind of in my steady ground of doing pretty well. And then in the summer, I succeeded in the summer, and coaches saw me and kind of recruit me. So kind of ended up going that path. My mom always says she hated me playing football because I always got hurt. But regarding the 3 sports, toughness for football, basketball, agility for the bases. I'm been known to be a pretty good base runner. I think that's kind of on the basketball court. I've been really agile and stuff like that. And for the throwing a football, I was a quarterback, so I was always throwing a football. And pitchers always use football as a throw to get the arm ready. So I think my arm strength might go back to the quarterback and throwing football and stuff like that. So yeah, it all kind of wraps up.
So you talked about your base running, you talked about your arm strength. Where did your phenomenal defense come from? I know that throughout your time at UMass Boston, you played some infield, you played a lot of center field, and your people in Beacondale became used to you making some really phenomenal plays and covering a lot of ground. Where did that skill set come from, or is that something you just always had?
Yeah, so in high school, I started out as an infielder at third base, and I slid over to second, played a little short. And then junior year summer, UMass Amherst, where I went, they're like, I want to see you in center field. So then I started playing center field, and then senior year high school, I played center field. And it kind of just was all natural. And then I went to UMass Boston, and then I had Sal in front of me where I learned a lot. And then I've always been that person to just go for balls, and in basketball, my instincts were great. Good reading out the bat, I think, is the most important part. You catch with your feet. Me and Claus used to say a lot. It's all about roots and angles and just wanting to catch the ball.
Is it more gratifying for you in baseball to steal an extra base hit or to get an extra base hit of your own?
That's a great question. I think under the circumstances, if it's late in the game, like I've done a few times, I think against NEC, when you just take that extra base hit, it really kills the other team, especially if it's in the super regionals or things like that. I think under the circumstances, it depends, but defensively making that great play is like no other.
What was this spring like? Obviously, it ended a lot sooner than you guys would have liked and a lot sooner than the last couple ones have ended. But just in terms of the suddenness of A, losing your Florida trip, and then B, losing your entire season, and losing a chance for you to really cap off what's been a career where you really built. You had a career season as a junior, and you had a chance to probably put up even bigger numbers during your senior season.
Yeah, I mean, it was unfortunate. I mean, our senior class was one of the relatively smaller ones in the past couple of years. In the first couple of years, we run on really successful teams, and we wanted to leave a great impact on the program, go out with a bang. We're really looking to prove everyone wrong. Like, there was people saying they were doubting us because we lost so much, and we worked really hard to go out there and prove everyone wrong and get that last ring. The only class in history to win 3 in a row, or win 4 in a row. So we were looking forward to doing that. And at first it was kind of like a dream. Like when they told us we might not play the season, I just didn't believe it. But then it hit us, and it was just crazy. And I kind of turned focus and looking full circle and make sure everyone was healthy, and that was the most important thing.
As a captain during this time, obviously you don't have games, you don't have lifts, you don't have workouts. What is your role, or have you kind of left the leadership to the coaches while you kind of focus on your own stuff, getting ready for the CPA and kind of just figuring out what to do without your season?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely been tough, but we still have a group chat. We still talk in the group chat. I still keep in touch with some of the guys. We had a couple team meetings on Zoom. We made the freshmen sing like we do every year, called Beacon Idol. So that was pretty fun. We've had a couple individual position meetings. A couple of guys are actually in my classes, so we still talk about that. So it's definitely tough to lead everything, but I've been checking in, making sure everyone's good. So, yeah.
Danny, you had a really impressive playoff run last year. You were the LEC Most Outstanding Player, had the walk-off hit against UMass Dartmouth and extras in the first game. Then you were named to the All-Region team, and you had strong performances in the Super Regionals and the College World Series. What was that like to be – I mean, you weren't one of the big hitters in the lineup because there were so many seniors, so many all-conference guys ahead of you, but what was it like to be one of the guys who was kind of carrying the team in some of those big spots during that big playoff run?
Yeah, it was great. I mean, throughout the whole season, the seniors, Ed, Booty, Zog, Lopi, everyone, they carried us. They carried us all year. They're unbelievable. And in the playoffs, I was just fortunate to help them out. They were scuffling a little bit. And I was just trying to, maybe I was going unnoticed. They were all focused on everyone else, and I was just coming up in big situations and putting the bat in the ball and providing for the team. So that it was pretty good. I'm just glad to help out the team. Those seniors really deserved it. So I'm glad I could help them out.
Is there a specific moment, whether it was an individual accomplishment or a team accomplishment, that you can really cherish going forward?
Yeah, I think it's going to the World Series last year. I mean, being a part of that, the first couple of years I was freshman year, we went to the World Series. That was an incredible experience, but last year it was just different. Like, being part of the team, I felt like I had a bigger role. It was just a whole different feeling. I'll never forget that time in Iowa we had. It was unbelievable.
So you've already talked about it a little bit. You're an accounting and finance major with a minor in economics. It makes sense that you're taking a lot of classes. What is your future plan, and kind of how has that been impacted, if at all, by the current pandemic?
So my future, I got a full-time position at PwC, which is a Big Four accounting firm. I'm looking to take my CPA exam in the near future. So I have to take, for those who don't know, I have to take 150 credits in order to become licensed for the CPA exam. So my goal is to work at PwC for maybe 2 to 3 years, get it on my resume, get some really good experience, and then maybe reopen my job search and try to get another good job somewhere else or stay at PwC. But I really want to go to PwC, get my CPA, get some really good experience, and then kind of reevaluate after 2 or 3 years.
What's the long-term goal? Do you have a dream job?
Become the CFO of a Fortune 500 company.
It's a lofty goal, but it's a good one.
Yep. Yep.
Well, Danny, it was great to catch up with you. It's good to hear that you're doing well and that you're keeping busy during this period. And good luck reaching that lofty goal.
Yeah. Thanks. Have a good one.